The peaceful village of Umuaro. Long ago, in a quiet corner of the African forest, there was a small village called Umuaro. It was a peaceful place where people lived simply, farming the land and sharing laughter under the moonlight. Children ran freely, mothers sang as they cooked, and fathers told stories by the fire. At the heart of Umuaro stood the great Iroko tree, which was believed to protect the village. Umuaro was ruled by a kind old king named Obi Agu. He had ruled for many years with wisdom and love. People said his heart was soft like a yam in the fire, but the king had no son, only a beautiful daughter named Adanma. Her beauty was like the morning sun, and her kindness touched every soul in Umuaro. A stranger came to Umuaro. He was tall, dark, and his eyes shone like burning coals. His name was Izina, and he claimed to be a prince from a distant land. He brought gifts, kola nuts, shiny beads, and bags of salt. He greeted the villagers with wide smiles, and soon everyone loved him. King Obi Agu was old and weak. He thought, maybe Izina can marry my daughter and become king when I'm gone. Adanma, however, felt something strange in her spirit. "Father," she said, "this man hides his true face." But the king, tired and longing for rest, ignored her. Soon, the wedding was fixed. Izina would marry Adanma and become the next king of Umuaro. The village rejoiced as the wedding day arrived. Drums beat like thunder. The women danced with white chalk on their faces. Palm wine flowed like the river, and the children sang wedding songs. But Adanma did not smile. Even in her fine wrapper and beads, her heart was heavy. She looked at Izina, and his smile felt cold. That night, as they danced before the village, Adanma whispered, "Who are you truly?" Izina only smiled and said, "You will know, but it will be too late." The old king, Obi Agu, watched them from his stool, weak and tired. He whispered to the Iroko tree, "May the gods protect my people." But the Iroko tree stayed silent. Days after the wedding, things began to change. Izina no longer smiled at the people. He stopped greeting the elders. He told the hunters to bring him the biggest meat and give him the best yam harvest. Then he gave an order, no one will speak to the Iroko tree again. The villagers were shocked. The Iroko tree was sacred. They prayed under it, and every king gave thanks there. But Izina said, "That is the way of the old. I bring new ways." One night, Adanma saw Izina talking to himself under the moon. His voice was strange, not like any man's. When he turned, his eyes were red like fire. She ran. She ran to her father's hut, crying, "Papa, this man is not human. He speaks to spirits." But Obi Agu was now very sick. His body was like dry wood. "Daughter," he whispered, "the gods must speak now." That same night, thunder roared without rain. The Iroko tree groaned as if it felt pain. And in the early hours, King Obi Agu gave up his spirit. His last words were, "The heart sees what the eyes cannot." Umuaro mourned. Wailing filled the air. Drums beat slowly. Women cut their hair. The village buried their king with palm fronds, tears, and silence. Izina stood tall beside the grave. But he did not cry. Instead, he smiled. Then he said, "From today, I am King Izina of Umuaro. Anyone who disrespects me will face death." Fear swept through the village like cold harmattan wind. King Izina became a tyrant. He flogged men for walking past his hut without kneeling. He took wives from their husbands. He forced children to serve him. Adanma, now his queen, was kept in the palace like a bird in a cage. Her eyes lost their shine. She spoke to no one. Every night, she cried. But Izina never cared. Then, one day, a blind man came into the village. His name was Omalins. He carried a carved staff and a bag of stones. His clothes were torn, but his voice was strong. He sat under the forbidden Iroko tree and said, "I have come to end this darkness." The villagers stared in fear. "How can this blind man sit under the sacred tree?" they whispered. A brave boy named Chuka walked up to him. "Old man, don't you know the king has forbidden us from coming here?" Omalins smiled. "I am older than Izina's lies. I walk by the spirit, not by sight." "Who are you?" Chuka asked. "I am the voice of the old ones. The wind told me Unwaru is weeping." Suddenly, guards arrived. "Arrest that beggar." They rushed at Omalins, but just as they reached him, a loud wind blew. Leaves from the iroko tree circled the blind man, and the guards fell to the ground. The villagers gasped. Adanma, hearing the noise from the palace, peeped from her window. When she saw the blind man, her heart burned with hope. Maybe the gods have sent someone. That night, Omalins sat alone under the moon. Adanma snuck out of the palace and walked to him with quiet steps. "Please," she said, "who are you truly?" He did not look up. "You are the daughter of Obi Agu, the crying flower of Unwaru." Her eyes filled with tears. "Izina is not a man," Omalins said. "He is a demon with a human face. He came to Unwaru to steal your crown and break your spirit." Adanma fell to her knees. "Then help us. Help me." He reached into his bag and pulled out a single black stone. "This stone holds the truth. But truth comes with pain. Are you ready?" She took the stone in her hand. It felt hot, then cold, then heavy. Her eyes suddenly opened wide. She saw visions of Izina burning villages in distant lands, of him wearing many faces, of him drinking blood, of him killing Obi Agu with a shadowy hand. Adanma screamed. But when she opened her eyes again, she was calm. "I believe you," she said. "Then we must act before the next full moon," Omalins warned. Omalins asked Adanma to bring him 7 things: a feather from the king's sacred eagle, water from the hidden spring behind the palace, a piece of Obi Agu's wrapper, the ashes of the last harvest, a tooth from a lion, the tears of a widow, and the laughter of a child. Adanma thought, these are impossible. She climbed the palace roof to find the eagle's feather. She crawled through thorns to fetch spring water. She cut a piece of her late father's cloth from his grave. She swept the old farm to gather ash. She paid a hunter to give her a lion's tooth. She visited Momankechi, whose husband died under Izina, and begged for her tears. And last, she went to the orphanage and made a lonely boy smile. When she brought the 7 items to Omalins, he smiled. "You are stronger than you know." Under the full moon, Omalins stood at the iroko tree. He poured the spring water on the ground. He burned the wrapper and ash together. He placed the lion's tooth and eagle feather in the fire. He crushed the widow's tears into the flames. And then he added the child's laughter. A wind rose. The tree glowed. Then Izina arrived, surrounded by guards. His eyes blazed. "You dare defy me?" Adanma stood behind Omalins. "Your time is up, demon." Izina roared, and fire burst from his hands. But the iroko tree split open, and a light came out, hitting him. He screamed. The villagers rushed out from their homes. They saw Izina's true face, a beast with horns, fire, and blood. Children cried. Mothers screamed. Men hid their faces. Then Omalins raised his staff. By the voice of Obi Agu, by the truth of Adanma, and by the power of the gods, go back to the darkness. Lightning struck. Izina vanished. Silence. Then, birds chirped. The stars came out. And the iroko tree stood strong again. At dawn, the villagers gathered. They wept and knelt before Adanma. "You saved us. You were right. You are your father's daughter." Omalins blessed her head. "You were once a flower, now you are the sun." Adanma wiped her tears. "I did not do this alone. They crowned her Queen Adanma of Umuaro, with Omalins beside her as Elder of Wisdom. She ruled with truth, kindness, and strength. One morning, Adanma woke to find Omalins gone. He left only his staff and a note carved into the iroko tree, "When the land weeps, I will return." Not all who are blind lack sight. No one ever saw him again. But children still tell the story. And under the iroko tree, people still pray, sing, and remember. People say that Omalins was not just a man. Some say he was a spirit. Some say he was a prophet. Some say he was the ghost of Obi Agu's twin. But all agree on one thing: his tears watered the soul of Umuaro. And from those tears, a queen was born. A queen who taught that kindness is power, truth is light, and courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to fight despite it.